In the dark corners of Europe, one name strikes fear into both criminals and police alike. Bolle Jos. His real name? Jos Leidekkers. But who is this man really? How did he transform from a party fun-loving kid into one of Europe's most feared drug lords? Today, we explore the life of Jos Leidekkers, a man who started as a regular kid and rose to become a notorious criminal mastermind. We'll uncover how he went from being a local boy to a name that sends shivers down the spine of law enforcement across the continent. But before we get started, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss our next thrilling true crime story. Now let's begin our journey into the dark world of Bolle Jos. Jos Leidekkers was born on April 29, 1992, in Prinsenbeek, a small village near Breda in the south of the Netherlands. Growing up, Jos was very popular. He was the kind of kid who was fun to be around, always the life of the party. He loved throwing big gatherings at his home, where his friends would gather to celebrate and have a good time. To everyone who knew him, Jos seemed like a normal, easygoing boy. No one could have predicted the dark path he would eventually take. His early life didn't show any signs that he would become one of Europe's most wanted men. Jos didn't come from a rough background. His father owned a well-known brothel in Breda called Reeperbahn, located on Belkromweg. Although this might seem like an unusual business, it was legitimate, and Jos grew up in a comfortable environment. His family lived in the nearby, much nicer area of Prinsenbeek, far from the seedy surroundings of the brothel. Despite this, something changed in Jos when he turned 14. He began to get involved in small crimes. Nothing too serious at first, just petty thefts and minor offenses. But these small acts were the beginning of a slippery slope. They set Jos on a path that would eventually lead him to become one of Europe's most feared criminals. As Jos got older, his involvement in the criminal world deepened. By the time he was 18, he was already well known to the police. He started hanging out with older, more experienced criminals, learning from them, and quickly climbing the ranks in the underworld. He was smart, ambitious, and eager to make a name for himself. Jos was given the nickname Bolle Jos, or Chubby Jos, due to his appearance. But don't let the nickname fool you. Jos was anything but soft. He was sharp, cunning, and knew how to run a criminal operation. His rise in the criminal world was swift and calculated. As Jos became more involved in crime, he began to focus on drug trafficking.